What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. Today we got some news from the dev team in the form of dev note number 8. To start out with, we've basically got the announcement of a live stream, another chilling with Danny Q session that's going to happen on March 1st. That should be 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. They want to talk about the balance for the game overall, and they're talking about the introduction of update for content, but they don't say when this content's actually going to be released. So let's jump in here and talk about this, right? So basically, they want to give an overview of the future update directions where the game is headed, mostly relying around the Pegasus base system, the Alliance raid, the squad battle, the epic invasion rework, and then the hero balance adjustments that we, the players, were talking about. Now, all of that on face value seems good, but they still are not addressing major issues that we, the players, are realistically talking about. And when we get into the dev note, you're going to see the problem. Basically, the core system in this game is terrible. The paywall model in this system is terrible. Training ground time ticket and rewards are feeling terrible. The amount of time that it takes to level up characters in general feels terrible. Like we're talking about, in order to get a 6-star piece of gear, you're talking about 2-3 months probably of investment just to get a 6-star piece, not to include nano fusing that piece of gear. So let's jump inside these dev notes that they basically have over here, and we can run down the barrel of these, right? So first up and foremost is that they talk about the Pegasus base, and they want to basically establish this Pegasus base because essentially they have this idea that they're going to pivot the game, right, from being a focus on a single player MMO style RPG, meaning you have one character and that character has a linear progression that they monetize and they push you into, right, shuttle you through. But they're going to switch this over to being a squad style game, you know, squad based game, similar to Marvel Future Fight in that sense, where you build up a host of characters and those characters pivot through the game. So one of the main things that they want to do to address that is the missions, right? Basically, they want to make it feel like your side characters or your other characters have a means to basically go through side quest missions, epic missions, and things like that without feeling like they're losing out on experience or rewards, right? Hey guys, a whole bunch of other games have already figured this out. And matter of fact, they even figured out how to monetize it without going through the bullshit that's going on here. If you jumped inside Lost Ark, we most recently was talking about this. It's called the Power Pass. You jump inside Destiny, they essentially have the same thing. It's called the Power Pass. You jump inside of Black Desert Online, they have an event called Seasonal Server. You will jump on any fucking game that's in the MMORPG space. They've already figured this out. Why is this like we're reinventing the wheel for Marvel Future Revolution? Makes no sense to me, guys. Another thing that they're talking about is they're finding a way to increase supply storage. Basically, on top of our normal storage that we get for roster storage, I guess you would say, and your character inventory storage, is that they're going to give you a supply storage as part of your hero adjustment. And I guess the reason behind this may be because other players are basically using alt characters as just supply carriers. I mean, that's essentially what I'm looking at. Now, this doesn't really make much sense to me, the same way the missions don't make much sense to me, because guess what? All you're telling me is that you reduce the amount of time that I use, and you're working on something that I haven't told you was a problem. Because right now, if I go through missions and I looked at the majority of my roster, even from when they had the first chilling with Danny Q session, not the second or the third, the first chilling with Danny Q session that they had with Alice Pac almost a month after release, they were surprised that people had already capped out characters at the max within a month. So this is not an issue, because the majority of us have already run characters through side missions, through epic missions, and everything else in between within the first month. It's not like this is a hard thing. So why are you even addressing it? It's something that we didn't ask for, something that doesn't really need to be addressed right now, but because you don't want to address those things, you put this bullshit in front of our faces. That's essentially how I look at that, right? So then we get over here and we talk about the supply storage, and I'm like, yeah, I was already using my other characters as pack mules. Great, thank you for giving me more supply storage. Thing I'm interested to know is, am I going to have to pay for this supply storage? Because I already had to pay for my main character storage. I already had to pay for my my squad storage. So am I gonna have to, is this another way for you to monetize storage for me? Is that what it is? Or you're gonna start giving me storage as rewards, which still wouldn't make sense, right? Because who's holding on to that much shit? The only way I would have to hold on to that much stuff is if, and only if, I was given more rewards in this game. They didn't talk about, so that's moving away from the Pegasus base to Epic Invasion. They basically understand that Epic Invasion was not really a fair enough competition across the play, and it wasn't very rewarding, especially considering that the main reward realistically for those outside of the competitive ladder level was the battle badges. But the problem was, across 3 Epic Invasions that they had, other than the Thanos invasion, which I basically paid for those badges. I still remember this. I basically went inside the shop and I bought the battle badge packs that they had there, and that's how I got the majority. For the other 2 that we had, for the Eternals and for Spider-Man, I didn't get any of the battle badges. I think I got 1 inside the Eternals. So in all of that play, I got 1 battle badge. So now what they plan on doing is having a way for you to craft special badges, battle badges, that are going to basically be better than the Blitz, Omega War, or Dark Zone battle badges. So Epic Invasion is going to feel like more in-game content than even those events are going to be in-game content. This is essentially a good thing. I'm not going to riff on this necessarily. This is the one shining beacon inside here that I'm like, cool. All right, so let's keep it moving. So then they talk about the character balance improvements inside that they asked for inside the survey, which basically focus on Captain America and Doctor Strange. Here goes something that I want to point out to you guys. So either A, the player base is dumb, or B, the developers are dumb. Or they think we're dumb. I don't really know how to say this. I'm just gonna let's go on the onus that the people that participated in the survey might be dumb. Not everybody, but a good majority. And I'm going to point this out not with Captain America, because I can't necessarily speak for Captain America, but I can speak for Doctor Strange. So let's talk about Captain America first. Basically, from their server, they got that 44.5% of the player base that responded to that survey had the character, and I'm going to tell you right now, wasn't that many goddamn players that responded to that survey. You can go on there and look at the reviewed people, or the people that actually clicked on it. Only 44.5% of the player base felt that he didn't feel like he was a tank top character. Only 40. Okay, I can't speak for Captain America because I don't play Captain America like that. But okay, Captain America receives more damage in battle compared to other heroes. Basically, they need a health increase and a strengthened survival skills inside there. Only 13.4% of the player base felt that responded. And then we say skill accuracy rate increase is needed. Accuracy rate in this game for real? And okay, I can't speak for Captain America, so I'm going to say that I'm going to move past those numbers. It says the dev team fully sympathized with the opinions expressed by agents. They decide to improve Captain America's specialization and balance him in a way to clearly show the concept of a tanker more clearly through this update. In addition, we are reviewing measures to improve the skill accuracy rate. I think that's bull. Overall, the problem is that it won't make a difference unless you have a game mode inside this game that feels rewarding for a tanker, meaning you don't have that, because you're basically saying, like an Epic Invasion, you have not shown the ability in 3 invasions to square out the playing field so that way it feels rewarding to play a tanker role inside that game, aka Captain America. That's just the truth. So unless you make game modes where it feels rewarding to play as a tank or to require a tank-like character, you are basically going to fail. That goes into Doctor Strange. Are you seriously telling me that only 40% of respondents to this server understood that one of the biggest issues with Doctor Strange is that his attack speed is slow and the skills take too long to cast? If that is the truth, then I feel like the big majority of issues with this game is the player base, not the devs. You're going to tell me only 40% of respondents to this survey understood that? Wow. Improvements are needed in reducing ineffective specializations and granting more effective specializations needed during battle, 35.1%. I'm not going to harp on this one because clearly I think a lot of players across the board just look to other players to define the meta, and then they go with the meta. So unless they were playing with the skills and things like that, no doubt that they didn't understand this. We had a really good conversation with Busy about these things, so go take a look at that. Based on the opinions above, we plan to reduce the skill animation delay through this update so that we can show the more fast and fierce side of Doctor Strange. In addition, we will be focusing on placing more effective specialization effects needed during battle. Part of the problem will still exist. Doctor Strange is a control-based character that does not deal a shit ton of damage at all times. You're basically relying on RNG crit rate numbers and crit damage to actually show that he can do these things and hit you really hard. If we don't have a mode that makes this feel rewarding, you basically have DPS character, DPS character, DPS character, DPS character, and you're never going to be able to facilitate this while making characters feel good. Like for instance, if I jumped inside Lost Ark right now, I feel rewarded as playing the tank role in the Paladin. I feel rewarded playing that support, whether I'm playing inside like the Shadespire, which is basically battle challenge. If I play inside Guardian mode, like Chaos Dungeons or whatever, I feel rewarded in the fact that I'm helping out the rest of the team and that I am still able to come in MVP numbers because my ability to heal and provide defense is just as important as the attacker's ability to deal damage to the target. You have to build this in the game. Doesn't necessarily mean that all characters have to follow this mode so that way it becomes a tank DPS, you know, kind of support roles and stuff like that in the game. But come on, man. This is the part where the dev update completely lost the track for me. Special costume improvements. Nobody other than maybe the 1% has said anything about special costume improvements. Let's be honest. Nobody. When we talk about these things inside special costumes, the one thing that we talk about in droves is the pay model. This game asks you on base level, on foundational level, to spend thousands of dollars in order to receive these special costumes. Not hundreds, not within 100, thousands of dollars. Because in order for you to level up a special costume, not even a special costume in full, a special costume piece, you need to spend thousands of dollars in order to do this, because it's RNG to acquire the special costume. It's RNG to acquire the costume's stats and make sure that that is actually a costume worth using. And then it takes an inordinate amount of time and work, unless you just pay out, in order to rank up that special costume. And the bottom line is none of these costumes feel really great until they get to the 5-6 stage in the first place, right? Nobody asked for you to try to make it more definable that these special costumes, basically what I hear from the special costume improvement versus the regional costumes, is that you're trying to increase the gap once again between the free to play and the pay to play or the whale community. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I'm going to bring this back, right? Because I want you to notice right down here inside the PvP content balance adjustments, they literally say this right here in the first paragraph. Recently, there have been many cases of being too easily defeated in Dimension Duel, Omega Wars, and Dark Zone due to the growth gap. This increasing gap is unbecoming and is reducing the overall front of the game, so we will try to recalibrate the rules to compensate for this. Motherfuckers, you just said in the previous thing that you want to increase the differential of the special costume to regional costumes. That's increasing the power growth gap. That's increasing the power growth gap. You are basically saying in one part of this that you are going to increase the power growth gap because you're going to make special costumes feel more valuable than the regional costumes. But then in the very next piece, kind of undefined, that the reason that this is existing is because there's a segment of players who can invest inside of these special costumes, increase the growth of the gap because they can get these costumes to in-game levels because they're investing thousands of dollars, and you're talking about the increased gap inside here. You're increasing the gap. Stop. It's the bullshit. It's the bullshit. Then they talk about they plan to adjust the PvP content balance to prevent defeat even before a fight by adjusting the damage that occurs in PvP to make the battle more immersive and allow agents to study the optimal efficiency. Nothing in this game necessarily feels rewarding in terms of knowing your character's skill versus knowing your character's power level. That's the truth of the matter. That is the truth, right? Whatever they want to talk about in here. They want to increase the battle challenge first clear reward. Cool. I'm happy with that. Go ahead and increase the first clear reward for agents. No problem. Omega War matchmaking improvement and assist. Basically, they're trying to redefine how a character is, basically who deals more damage to the character, what you get in terms of assist points versus what you get in terms of kill points, and then increasing the Omega War matchmaking. Let's be honest about this. This basically all rolls back into the PvP challenge and the special costume improvements. If I jump inside Omega War and I see that Godslave, Half-Sinned, Yags is on the opposing team, Dancing Dirk, some of these players are on the opposing team and I'm not on a team with a bunch of whale level players, I'm going to give up. And you know why? Because it's 7 to 10 minutes of my life that I'm literally sitting here looking at like, okay, if I battle these guys and even if I had the remote 10% possibility that I was going to win and that I was going to do well and I was going to get more rewards for it, then I'll probably do it. But the fact of the matter is that a win inside Omega War is 525 badges. A loss in Omega War is 125 badges or Omega War badges. Why am I going to invest that time for 125 Omega War? Why is the difference? Again, we want to talk about that growth gap, the difference between their 1 to 5. 1 to 5. That's the reward scale. You guys have a system foundationally that is screwed, and I'm dealing with the JV squad that doesn't really know how to develop a game. You are increasing the power gap. Because once I jump inside that game, I see those players, I see who's on my team, and I know that I'm going to get 125 tokens for losing versus them getting 525. You know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna let that shit go on autoplay, or I'm not gonna play it at all. That's the truth. And I'm gonna get back to this autoplay here, right here inside this one. Responding to AFK players after entering content. This whole comment right here tells me that you don't know the game you're playing, that you don't know the game that you're producing. Number 6 should be a concern to everybody across the board, whale, free to play, pay to play alike. It should literally say to every single player that these devs don't know the game that they are producing. Let me say one thing. Autoplay. How can players push complaints about AFK players when they enter content when you have autoplay in every single mode? If I jump inside Blitz, if I jump inside Raid, if I jump inside Omega War, if I jump inside Spec Ops, Dog Water mode, every single game mode in this game to include Training Ground has an autoplay feature in it. You are literally saying to me that if players are responding about AFK players after entering content, that your autoplay does not work. That's the bottom line. Your AFK players in a game that has autoplay in every single mode, your AFK players, when you're talking about ultimate skills, companion skills are on autoplay, and you're telling me that players are complaining about AFK players, then your autoplay is shit. Fix your autoplay and don't give me this bull about the standards for the sanction feature are a secret and cannot be revealed for its innate nature. What the hell does that mean? I'm playing a mobile game. By all standards of expectation, this is not a PC game. It's not me sitting down and generating time towards it. It's not meant for me to be like, hey, I've sat down and I've got an hour to 3 hours. I saw somebody say something before about that. I'm like, no, this is not the age of players sitting down in front of a monitor and screen. Shut the fuck up. You're literally talking about a mobile game where you're like literally like, yo, this is literally, you're talking about, I'm sitting down at the toilet, I'm like running around on a train, I got a lunch break or something, and you're telling me that you're going to implement sanctions that you're not telling the players what they are while you have an autoplay that doesn't work. Does that shit make sense to anybody? Like, for real? Like, what in the hell? So I'm going to say this overall. To me, what I just read inside dev notes is that we don't know what we are doing and what the players are actually addressing and asking. We talked about training grounds. They don't talk about it here. We talked about cores. They don't talk about it here. We talked about the paywall model. They don't talk it about here. We talked about the literally ability for players to feel like they're being rewarded for playing characters that are simply not DPS. They don't talk about it here. So at every level of the things that we, the players, are talking about, they're not talking about it here. We said, what's up with the hero and what's the future hero that's coming out? We have not had a hero released for this game or even talked about outside of Magic, who I said was going to be a bad character to update because nobody knew who the hell Magic was playing this game. But we still don't have a hero talked about inside here or what the timetable is. So we have to assume that going into the chilling with Danny Koo, even if he announces what the new character is going to be, it took them from the time that they announced Magic to December, so better part of 4 months to release that character. So we won't see a new character to midway in the year. Come on, guys. Come on. Hope you guys enjoyed this dev note number 8 discussion. Comment in the section below. Let me know what you guys think about it. To be honest, I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it. Yeah, I'm not happy with it. Not happy at all. I haven't played Marvel Future Revolution in about 2 days, and I'm not necessarily complaining about it because between Lost Ark, Destiny, Marvel's Avengers, Elden Ring, I just haven't really had the desire to click and log into it to deal with the stuff. Like, I was able to complete everything that was needed to be complete for the event for the half year, especially with the half-year scamiversary. Half-year scamiversary, really. So we got half-year scamiversary, and then we got scam dev notes. All right, guys, until next time, peace.